Well, at least we finished the game. It happened again, Zen. The same thing happens with Dead Space. All right, and it does happen to me it has happened to me a bunch of times with on stream and everything. So apologies for that. Well, I am back, and it's just, well, yeah. I'm not sure where I got cut off, but I was just simply saying that, yeah, I don't know where they're gonna go from here, but they've left a lot of enough open to follow Atreus into the next danger situation he's gonna be in. So yeah, there's definitely a room for sequels. So I'm also wondering how they're gonna continue to build upon Kratos as a character. So now it feels like we're gonna be featuring, like, what you know, this whole game was about family, and it feels like we really got a satisfying conclusion to a chapter in the relationship. What's next? Like, I feel like Kratos really went full circle now. So yeah, I guess there's a lot of other problems we can explore. I guess you're gonna have to focus on the other characters and building them up as well. We need a strong supporting cast, which is what this was a definite improvement over 2018, where definitely the supporting cast here was a huge highlight. I really felt, and they really helped carry a portion of the game. But of course, Christopher Judge really deserved that award, I feel, for one of the best performances. That is a great performance, and also technically, if we're gonna go back to like how everything was shot and put together and directed, like, even though a lot of it for me fell flat in the last act, I'm not sure yet what about the last act really just threw me off. It just didn't feel like the same game. But overall, like, the way everything was just choreographed and shot, there were just so many amazing, like, awesome moments that just really impressed me from the creator's point of view. Like, thinking about it in a live action sense, or even just virtually, like moving that virtual camera. It is cinematography, whether it be in the real space or not. There is a camera here, and the art of cinematography is still very alive and well here. And yes, there are advantages to it, being a virtual camera, getting everything perfect. You know, they're in control of everything. It's a different thing, of course, but you know, just setting everything up, putting the details in there. And I also really loved how it really rewarded you for paying attention to the scene, what was going on around the scene. Like, because they didn't have the luxury of cutting to moments, or cutting to close-ups, or cutting to inserts to highlight certain moments. You know, that's a challenge of the single continuous take. You can change your focal length as you go, you can move it around, but in this case, you can only do so much. And yet they were able to achieve, like a lot of people try to brag about doing single continuous takes as a technical achievement, but they tend to forget to tell a story. And in this case, they really took careful consideration to fill in those gaps of the camera traveling, shifting focal lengths. There's always something to pay attention to. Actually, almost all the time, there's something to pay attention to in the scene, which meant something. And they never really hammered you in the head with exposition, which is why I think the last act kind of was like, oh no, they're dumping everything on us now. They're trying to explain everything to us happening off screen in the past, and we're just supposed to nod our head as we run towards Odin, which is a very, very underwhelming boss fight. It is a terrible boss fight by Odin standards. Like, Thor and Baldur still had some of the best fights, but Odin was like a mini boss. It wasn't because we were already decked out. It is just a design. It is just a fight, and I don't know. I was just so disappointed with the fight, the Odin fight. But anyway, yeah, and I think that's a big difference that we saw going into Ragnarok and the moments leading up to Ragnarok. Before that, it's like Ragnarok, we lost all sense of subtlety. It just felt like, again, ticking all the boxes, just trying to wrap it up because they weren't going to get a third game in this pantheon. So that's what they did, and they rushed a lot, and it was just okay. They had a lot of time to build up everything else. Building up, that's why I really love the moments of building up to Ragnarok, because there were so many great, subtle, quiet character moments. It was lovely to just see the performances, to actually pay attention to their faces, their body language. And I rarely do that with other games, especially technical limitations and taking into consideration in Western RPGs, and actually even in any RPGs. Like, I tend to just look at subtitles, right? We just read the subtitles. I know how difficult it is to like animate every dialogue in a very dialogue heavy game. They have to make compromises there for the sanity of the dev team. I'd rather not have them crunch and make everything like a God of War cutscene. But the point being, even with the cutscenes in a lot of RPGs, the pre-rendered cutscenes, I'm trying to think back, and there's just something about God of War that just really draws me into the scene, and that I realize now that I never read the subtitles. And that's kind of crazy to me, because I'm honestly a bit bothered by subtitles. I can't help but, my eyes can't help but go into subtitles and read subtitles whenever I turn it on. But I turn it on for the stream because it's good. It's good for the audience, and it also helps me keep track of things because I can read it while I'm listening to other things, and it helps me like multitask in a way. But in God of War, I was just so lost in a lot of the scenes, lost in a good way, immersed and lost in a good way, that I totally forgot I had subtitles on. And that to me was why I really, really loved playing this game, because I'm pretty sure you've heard a lot about how we don't it's so difficult to understand dialogue in shows now and movies. And it's true. You can read a lot about the articles there. For some reason or another, sound designers and the sound mixers just do not level the dialogue properly. And if we go back to the video game space, for me, one of the biggest offenders here is Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft games. Ubisoft. Let's take that as an example. Like, yes, Ubisoft, they made some really great games, really great cinematics, really great moments, especially in the Assassin's Creed stuff. A lot of dialogue heavy as well. But while you're playing the game, you need to look at the subtitles, or you're not gonna understand what the hell's being talked about. But here, no wonder this game got nominated, and I believe it did win the award for sound design. Because the fact that I didn't need to look at subtitles, or the fact that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking back into it now, I understood things. Like, I realized that I never once like, huh, what did he say? Like, that rarely happened to me here. So that's a huge props to the sound design team here. And of course, backed by an amazing score by Bear McCreary, one of my favorite composers ever since Battlestar Galactica. Bear McCreary, like, this soundtrack it's very signature Bear McCreary at this point. If you have not heard the Battlestar Galactica soundtrack, my god, that is also transportive. Okay, my bad. I see Vanoa. I see your message. Thank you for welcoming me back. I see it on one window, but I don't see it on my Streamlabs. So I'm sorry if I missed that message. Oh shit, how many messages have I missed? Okay, there's something weird with Streamlabs. I'm gonna pay attention to the actual... See, I see that's weird, but I didn't see your welcome back. I only saw Zens. Anyway, yeah, I was just discussing my thoughts on it. So, yeah, I was just looking at thinking about the great parts about this game, and it just really boils down to that. It was clear. It was focused. They didn't have, like, at least before Ragnarok, they didn't hammer things over the head, that hammer you over the head with unnecessary exposition. And okay, wait, never mind, they did a lot of exposition in between. Never mind, scratch that. But in general, like, I don't know, I just really felt like, at least when we got into the cutscenes, I was just so focused on all the details, the body language, the blocking in the scenes, the facial expressions. And I already said, it's just, I've never really experienced that in other games. Like, even in Uncharted, I read the subtitles. And I think a lot of it also is attributed to the fact that the camera never cuts. So subconsciously, we're already primed to be in the moment. The camera's there, it's rolling, we're not cutting, you're in there with them. So it makes it so much more immersive to, like, you're there, you are in the scene, in the moment. And it really helped, for me, it helped sell a lot of the moment. It helped sell a lot of the scenes for me. It wasn't just some one-trick pony, let's impress everyone with a simulated one take, like some filmmakers do. I still really am blown away by how they filmed this. It's... man. I'm not sure if we're gonna get another game like it in a while. Like not like being able to turn off the subtitles, understand what everyone's saying, and not saying by not saying, by how they move, how they pause, how they look at each other. And this is all in-game, with the in-game engine. Of course, with mocap and everything. But, my god, it is just... You know, they tried with, like, L.A. Noire. Back then, they were bragging about the facial animations in L.A. Noire. But, of course, back then, it's like a decade ago, almost a decade ago, technology wasn't that big in terms of, like, video game mocap. Like, L.A. Noire was lauded for their facial animations, but they totally forgot the rest of the body. So that's why, for me, L.A. Noire had amazing facial animations, but it fell into Uncanny Valley because the rest of the body didn't match up. So now, here, of course, technology has progressed to a point that we have this quality of motion capture, full motion capture in video games. And I know a lot of the huge criticism is that, well, why didn't they just make a movie then? Or it's just an interactive film. But the gameplay, I really felt, the gameplay's not bad. It is a game. I love the game. And I think it's a disservice to call it simply like a interactive movie. It's, playing through it, going through all the hardships that Kratos has, linking up with the story, with the controller. It just technologically, the dual sense, the haptic feedback, the stroking the touchpad to smear paint on Lao Fei's hand, little things like that. It just really reminds me as a gamer that this medium is so special. And why I grew up on video games, and there's a discourse surrounding The Last of Us HBO series, which I hear is very good. But I remember one of Matthew's biggest gripes about it was when people feel like, Hollywood standards, quote unquote, or prestige television is like the final goal for video games. But it's like, you can't... The Last of Us game is still, for me, very different experience from just watching the television series. As great as the television series is, as a story told through a video game, through a controller, there's just so much we've underestimate about playing the game. And the name and the word play kind of throws people off already and gives video games a lot of flack, because game, play, a lot of people don't really attribute that to, I don't know, mature storytelling or Hollywood. It's they think it's just for kids. A lot of people still think it's just for kids and that it's not capable of telling good stories. But then the discussion comes in like, okay, do we need all these full motion capture cinematic stuff which takes control away from the players? But you can never really I feel like this really struck a great balance. I didn't feel like I wasn't playing a game. I felt like I was playing a game with some great transitions in the form of cutscenes. And I think people focus too much on the fact that it's like they're saying God of War is trying too much to be a movie that it forgets to be a game. I don't know. I don't really agree with that sentiment, because for me, the cutscenes were the icing on top. I could say I enjoyed playing the game. Backtracking aside, okay, I gotta say that is my one huge criticism against it. The side content and the accessibility of the side content. It just, it's so much more convenient if you finish the game and do the side content. But when I was off stream doing some of the side content to get ready for Ragnarok, it just wasn't a very smooth experience compared to like other games in like something. It's pretty much like a Metroidvania in terms of backtracking with new tools, unlocking new equipment. So gameplay wise, I still found it very solid. I really enjoyed the combat. I really enjoyed the companion integration into it. The building of the character, I didn't really get into it much, but I still felt quite satisfied building my character RPG-wise, getting new skills, getting XP. Like, it's not revolutionary gameplay, but it's like I just really feel like they can coexist. You can have a game that has very stellar, whatever unique stellar gameplay you can think of, and still be able to tell an amazing story. Now, how you want to tell that story, of course, I really feel like there's just so much more you can do in a video game, or there's so much more to consider in a video game, given the fact that you have to give players an agency to do so. Your players have agency to play the game. So there's where I think a lot of the challenge comes in, whether to balance, very much like a tabletop RPG session. You're not, I'm in the camp of believing that you need to give as much control. You need to give almost as much control. You need to give your players agency. You need to trust your players to co-write your scenes and co-write the session. And I feel like that leads to really fruitful tabletop RPG sessions, because a lot of people fall into the trap of feeling like they're just running the game to tell their story. Like, they're gonna try to shoehorn everything to tell the story and the scenes how they want to, without really taking into account player agency. So it's like, no matter what the players will do, those kinds of GMs will always find a way to, railroad them or take away their agency because they wanted the scene to go a certain way. But really, truly, in tabletop RPGs, a lot of the reward comes from the players having their input. Open your... Let's take a quote from God of War. Open your heart to that. Don't close your heart off to the fear of the change, or your story not going so well. Especially if you're like a new game master, you are not alone. You need to open your heart to your players. because your players are there to help write the story with you. And that, I think, also is necessary as a player. You need to be a good player. You also need to learn to take take initiative, contribute to the story. Don't just like wait for your turn. Okay, like you also need to be an active participant. And going back to video games, I like seeing the crossover over there, because with a video game, of course, it's so much more structured. You're giving your players a gameplay experience, and there are set limitations. It's not as freeform, of course, as a tabletop RPG. It is all written down. It is all structured. This is the experience. So they can really tailor it. But in the tailoring of that experience, how much game are you giving to the player to make them feel like that they are an active participant in the ongoing narrative? Which leads me to say that I felt like an active participant here. Like, choices and consequences be damned. Not all games need multiple ending, multiple dialogue kind of thing. Like, sometimes you just want a great game which has phenomenal cutscenes and acting and performances and music and a lot of great writing, mostly. That's enough. And it's not, it succeeds because it is a game. You can't say that, oh, it's just a movie. Or like, oh, it's so good because it's like a movie. That's part of the success in it. But honestly, compare it to just watching these on... watch all the cutscenes on... What am I saying? You guys just watch me play through this. Like, compared to actually playing... never mind. It's like... that streamers is another thing. It's like... Honestly, I also couldn't fathom why people would want to watch people play games, which is one of my hesitations for starting streaming in the first place. So thank you for being here. But I get it. You also come there for the community, meeting new people. Streaming is about the community as well. Like, I learned to really appreciate that. But before everything, I was also like, why would you want to watch someone play video games? And of course, that's not it. Anyway, that's something else. But yeah, like, compare just watching it versus experiencing it for yourself. You can't take the gameplay out of this, and you can't take the cinematics out of it. And I really feel like they struck a great balance here. How will I feel after a month? A year? How do I feel about God of War 2018 after... When did we finish it? Like half a year ago? I think we finished God of War 2018 half a year ago. Almost a year ago. And I am still impressed. I am still impressed about what they achieved with God of War 2018. This was, of course, more of the same, but I think Ragnarok overall still had so many more memorable moments. Like, they just... It felt like the crew knew how to shoot. It's like John Wick 1 to John Wick 2. It's like they're finding their footing and then honing that formula. And the team being veterans, knowing, all right, we know how to shoot this action scene, but now we can do it even better. So, like, I could really see more consideration go into a lot of the shots here. Like, comparing it to 2018, there's just something about the camera work here in tandem with the performance of the actors and the blocking. Because there were more people to consider here. 2018 was mostly a solitary affair with you and Atreus. There weren't that many people in the supporting cast. Here, there's a huge cast. Well, not huge, but a much larger cast. Many more actors to consider within each scene. And I just loved how they danced around that. And I think this was really highlighted by the fate scene, which is what one of my friends was really looking forward to me to experience, because of course it's very theatrical, very larger than life with the stage lights and the fates coming in and out. Thinking back on it, it's like, okay, that's kind of cheesy, but technically they knew the dance. They knew that, the proper timing, the actors, the direction, and the camera, all, and the lights and the sounds and everything just coming together. And that to me is great filmmaking. It's just inspiring. It's just inspiring because it's continuous takes are challenging enough, but hitting that magic of everything coming together, all the elements, it's just magic. The credits are pretty long, but I like sitting through all the credits. This team really did a good job. But I do hope they improve the gameplay even more for the next game. This is a bit. It is God of War 2018. Well, of course, I like the new weapons, some of the new additions, but in the end, I just ended up playing like how I played in 2018, which is up to me. It's all on me. I could have used other abilities which weren't from the previous game, but what are they gonna do next? I don't know. All right, let's just talk to these guys here. Ooh, I was thinking about that Vanua, but when I looked at how long to beat, it is huge. It is long. It is so long. Like that's my worry. It's even longer than God of War Ragnarok, and it took us three months to finish it. I rarely holy crap, Ghost of Tsushima was actually our longest, but no, Wildermyth was the longest we've had on this stream, and that's Wildermyth and Ghost of Tsushima really made me reconsider playing super long games on stream. I'm not sure if there's so many games to play. I don't want to just be locked into one, but also, it's anyway, God of War is different. Because we did all the side content on stream. Ghost of Tsushima, I did that as well. But Ghost of Tsushima made me realize that perhaps I should just do the main story on stream and do the side quests off stream, which is what I did in the latter part of Ghost of Tsushima, which made the DLC more palatable and easier to stream. Now, in God of War Ragnarok, since this is a kind of a once in a generation kind of game, actually Ghost of Tsushima is also that. But anyway, God of War, there's so much hype surrounding it. I wanted every inch of it to be immortalized on stream, so that's why I streamed even the side content or most of it. A Library of Ruina, even doing the main quest, how long would that be? Anyway, this weekend we do have Hi-Fi Rush. That won't take too long. It's not a very long game, and I'm really excited for that because it really feels like, based on the previews and the trailers, a throwback to the Dreamcast days. I was so happy with my Dreamcast, man. It's like the Dreamcast really had terrible timing, but it is a really great console. I really feel. And for some reason, Hi-Fi Rush just reminded me of those times. So I'm excited for that. It's all plot content. Yeah, oh my god, I saw how long to beat. It's 100 plus hours, and okay, I'll probably just play I'll just probably play Library for Winna off stream. But yeah, that officially concludes our first playthrough of God of War Ragnarok. I think I've shared all I could right now. Perhaps I'll feel differently about the game next week or the weeks after. I think we made some good time here, despite we disconnected, but thankfully it is at the end. Though I did share a lot of thoughts here, and I hope you found them insightful, and I hope they inspire you in some way. Uh, that said, this Thursday, I wait. I have to check what my plans are. Um, yeah, we will be streaming Scarlet Hollow on Thursday, but I'm not sure if it'll be a long stream or if it'll be a regular half-day stream. But yeah, this Thursday, of course, is Scarlet Hollow. I double-checked to make sure that my save file is there. It is. So I could actually continue. I'll be starting Scarlet Hollow with episode 2, transferring over the world state from episode 1, and thankfully they're going to recap the events of episode 1 for us, because we played it back in October. It is pretty fun. I liked it. There was a lot of I felt like there were so many different options to really flesh out your character as a person through the dialogue options. It's not just dialogue wheel. It goes back to the RPGs of old with full sentences and like 10 different responses. That's the kind of visual novel Scarlet Hollow was. And yeah, Vanwa keeps recommending it, and I bit the bullet and I bought it despite it being in early access. So it's actually not complete. There's only 4 episodes right now, but I'm really looking forward to that. I enjoyed the first episode. Really great stuff. I also felt like a lot of my choices mattered, whether it be the illusion of it or not. Vanua has assured us that if you pull back the curtain, there really are different consequences. But whether the illusion, whether it's real or not, like the choices and consequences, I felt it. So that's what's important to me. And that's why I'm excited for, like, that's why I'm carrying over the save state of episode 1. We're not reloading. We're not save scumming. We are going to live with the consequences of our actions. And let's see what the recap tells us on Thursday. And yeah, this weekend is Hi-Fi Rush. The big question is what to replace God of War Ragnarok with. Because, my goodness, what? Wait, we're not even done. We are going to destroy the Berserkers. I forgot about that. Right, it's not done. We're just gonna have a quick stream next week. We're gonna defeat the Berserkers. We have... You know, I think I'll do this off stream. The last remnants of Asgard. But we have 8 math. What is math? 7 Berserker souls. Wait, what? This on stream, the last remnants of Asgard, is that it is? No, I'm not sure. Because okay, no spoilers. Is this worth, like? Because I'm not sure what to save. Okay, for sure, I want to do the Berserkers on stream because I like that. It's kind of like challenge content. Okay, you know what? We can do post-game stuff. It's not gonna take too long, right? 20 hours later. Shit, we're still in God of War Ragnarok. I will have to think about what to replace, though. Sorry, actually, we're not done with Ragnarok yet. We're officially done with the main campaign. But we will be streaming the Berserker Souls. Just keeping into tradition. I streamed the Hunting Down of Valkyries last time, and that is pretty fun. And I found the Berserker fights quite fun as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing next week for God of War Ragnarok. But you mentioned Limbus Company's releasing in 20 days. There's so many freaking games. I'm going to have to finish with the Library for Win on my own. Oh, really? Reactions of one of the remnants? Okay. Make safe the wreckage of Asgard, Vanaheim, Barry Woods, Alberic Hollow. There are a lot. Okay. So next week we're doing God of War Ragnarok. cleanup. You can't just destroy a realm and hope it mends itself. We have a lot to fix. So I'll probably do the collectathons off stream. So I'll collect the flowers, I'll collect the recipes. Is the Crucible worth streaming, or should I just like get this done off stream? Because this sounds like challenge content as well. So this is more like story content. Maybe we'll do this. Right, it's under epilogues. Okay, so we're gonna do some cleanup. We're doing this. We're gonna do the last remnants of Asgard. Berserkers on along the way. I might collect these. Travel to Muspelheim Crucible. I'm not sure if I want to do this on stream or if I'll just do this off stream, because I need this to upgrade my equipment. So yeah, actually, yeah, we're not done yet. Okay, I can think about what to replace it with later. Well, we're not done yet. There are favors, but yeah. The rest of the week, Thursday is Scarlet Hollow, and Saturday / Sunday, because I do have HEMA, is Hi-Fi Rush. Next Tuesday, we are officially done with God of War Ragnarok main quest. Thank you so much. But if you wish to see a bit more the epilogue and the challenges that remain, we'll just be knocking this out of the park. All right. Oh, wow. They do matter, and there's a lot. Yeah, you're talking about Scarlet Hollow. I'm excited to get back to her character. I forgot I made my character like Daisy Barnes in Scarlet Hollow. It's one of my OCs. Okay. So, thank you, everyone. I'm gonna find someone to raid. About Rowena, all 120 hours are fresh content without much of a grind. You know what? We'll see. We'll see. No, what I did, for example, like Dark Souls, what I did with like Elden Ring, I didn't stream everything in Elden Ring. I played a lot of it off stream. But like for big boss battles or when I felt like it, I'd stream and I just update progress. So that seems a bit more feasible as well for a 120-hour game. It's like, hey, if we have a free slot, maybe you'll just check into the library for Rowena story, and we could talk about it as well, since I know there are a lot of fans for Rowena. Of course, I can't predict when the boss battles will happen, but yeah, I could. It's one of those things you could like check in once in a while, perhaps for like an off-stream kind of thing. Oh, if it's clear when the boss battles are, I could do that as well. But because I was worried it is just gonna be a lot of a grind, but if you say that a lot of it's like story, like 120 hours of visual novel-like story, that is pretty insane. And I don't have the context of Lobotomy Corp, so that's going to be interesting as well. So I'll consider that. There are a ton of games. Like, I'm not streaming Fire Emblem Engage. I don't think... Well, all the reviews are saying is the story's pretty shit. But I'll just enjoy that on my own time. Forspoken, unfortunately, also was very disappointing story-wise. So... it's going to be hard to follow up God of War, honestly. Okay. Now, the strange thing is, it's 2 a.m. here in the Philippines. We don't really have anyone we can raid. If anyone would like to guide the raid, that would be great. But there's currently no one I know who is streaming. Effie was great, but it gone meh. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun game, but I'm not sure if there's a story we can really talk about. Why is my talk cam like that? All right, there we go. If characters have a personal theme, it's a boss. All right. Yeah, I should start that. It's been a world. It's a world that I've been wanting to try out. It'll also be kind of like a return to our SCP days. It's kind of related to the SCP. It's set in the same universe as Lobotomy Corp, right? So that should be quite interesting. But yeah, there's a lot. Ooh, but I'm really happy I was able to get through God of War Ragnarok. And again, I'm super glad you're all here for it. So with that, thank you so much, everyone. Glad to be here after more than a year later. I really hoped that we'll be able to grow with this channel this year and that we'll be able to give you different content, better content, because your support has been super great. It has been great and motivational for me and inspirational as well. And I hope we'll be able to talk about more stories in the future and perhaps create some more together. So thank you again for the raid. So glad that you graded. And for anyone who may still be lurking, if you enjoy this content, please do consider hitting that follow button and checking us out on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I know you caught us when we were all chatting and we were done with the game already, so there wasn't that much to play. There wasn't that much gameplay. But I hope you appreciated whatever I had to share as well. But thank you for being here. All right. So I'll see you all for Scarlet Hollow. Oh, which one? Oh. The personal theme? Okay. We got all Easter's. Would it be great if we all had our own theme song as we strut into battle? We always need one. Don't underestimate a good entrance. And a good exit, which is what we're going to do right now. So our Discord is open 24/7 for those who want to join the community. Thank you so much for the follow, Charkuri. Thank you for the raid. If any of you are still there, hope you have a great day. Some of them are a bit clamped. Can't elaborate on spoilers, but thank you for no spoilers. I'm very sensitive to spoilers. And we are going to clean up house next Tuesday. We have a bunch of remnants of Asgard and some berserkers. So it's all gameplay, all challenge gameplay next week. But we're done with the story. Good luck, Atreus. Hope you find those giants wherever they are in the multiverse. If this is a multiverse, it probably is a multiverse. But I'm excited where the giants ended up and which regions they ended up in and what is in store for God of War. But I think I'm pretty sure they might turn away from the single continuous take, because I think 2 games was enough with it. I'm still impressed by it. I'd still love to go through another game like that, but I have a feeling they might do away with that. It'll help them tell a slightly different story as well. We'll see. Or tell a story in a different way. And we'll see what comes after that. But there are a lot of games to look forward to, and I can't wait to play them and share a lot of their stories with you. So this has been Tabletop Cinema. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being here. Have a great day. And as always, welcome to the table. Have a great one. I'll see you on Thursday for Scarlet Hollow. Bye-bye. I forgot where my end button was. Yeah, that's what I think. I feel like the giants ended up not just in the afterlife, but in other afterlives, other realms. You know, it's like the possibilities are endless. They could have ended up in. It just makes sense to me. Like, they can't stay in the 9 realms. So where did they go? So I'm excited to see what happens. But yeah, thank you, Zan, for always being here as well. And Fisher, if you are still there, again, I learned a lot about Norse mythology, and I really got to appreciate the game a bit more. Not just a bit more, a whole lot more. Because you and other people also shared what they knew about Norse myth, because I am not that familiar with it. But coming from an actual um person from the region, and we're just very lucky to have you really be our guide through a lot of these myths, Fisher. So thank you. A lot of things would have flown over my head if you didn't share those thoughts. So thank you for being like a discovery tour kind of guide, truly the navigator. And always I appreciate the presence of all of you. So anyway, that this is what you call a Filipina goodbye. It's like you say goodbye at the table, then you say goodbye at the table, at the door, and then you say goodbye at the gate, and then you say goodbye outside of the gate, and then it's a long goodbye. So but not a goodbye. Take care. I'll see you later. Next time. Tomorrow. Bye bye.